The director and the band. The Texas panhandles in the midst of flyover country. Music there synonymous with Bob Wills and George Strait. You might not expect to hear Tchaikovsky or Toscanini, but in Canyon, Texas, that might be on your plate. It'd be coming from one of those small teacher colleges, a state university called West Texas A&M. The school's been out there on the plains for ages, but rarely spoken of beyond its immediate domain. One of this school's most outstanding teachers, a Texas adoptee originally from Kansas, turned A&M's band into an orchestral force of nature, competitive with any school band in Texas. Dr. Gary Garner, director of the A&M band, a modest man, hardly fearsome in mien or physique, but renowned across the Texas heartland for musical leadership bordering on the mystique. He got it done by concentrating on the basics, making sure his guys knew their music and their steps, avoiding overly flamboyant frivolities as toxic, staying faithful to the original score, a key concept. Dr. Garner's one of those closet perfectionists. To him, all that ever mattered was getting it right. Achieving the optimal is his daily catalyst, while keeping his personal ego out of the fight. Intensity, orchestral detail, and laser-like focus, combined with a remarkable memory. Traits that label Toscanini a musical genius. Dr. Garner was genetically blessed similarly. What distinguished Dr. Garner from any peer was his uncanny ability to teach and inspire. Over the tenure of his 4-decade career, his influence spread the plains like a prairie fire. Today, his former students head more school bands than those from any other program or university, a remarkable testimonial to an unassuming man for whom personal acclaim never was high priority. Texas musical educators have an annual convention, 11,000 or more of the musical arts-loving crowd. Bands from across Texas in fiercely friendly competition. Getting invited once makes any band director proud. Dr. Garner's bands were invited 10-plus times to perform. First visit in 1968, one of his fondest recollections. His unheralded band preceded by UT's renowned Longhorns. Dr. Garner's musicians judged the best by acclamation. The man and his memories. Humility is a virtue seemingly out of style. The guts to admit maybe you're not always perfect. I've seen Dr. Garner do that with a smile. When on his band direction history, he reflects. He'll tell about when he and the band got it wrong, like when he and his baton got a section ahead. No matter how vigorously he waved his wand, the band sat silently immobile, as if playing dead. Dr. Garner tried again, but stony silence reigned. He wondered why he wasn't getting through. Then a band member timorously explained, "Sir, you're on Section 3. We're on Section 2. The near 4 decades of Dr. Garner's band direction. His band's members numbered 100 or so annually. What's amazing is Dr. Garner's almost total recollection of each member's name and their musical ability. Give him a name and he'll give you an anecdote, something that made that person memorable. He loved them all, but his stories never sugarcoat. Tales of those whose foibles bordered on the laughable. He smiles, remembering the missteps of Randy Long Gone, whose compass could get him lost in a telephone booth. Once he singly marched off toward another time zone, scurried back in line when he realized the bitter truth. Many of Dr. Garner's former students describe him as a man they could approach without trepidation. In his nearly 40 years of directing the West Texas band, nothing ever sullied that reputation. But he admits there were student-teacher interactions that gave even him a moment of pause. Pondering what was behind a particular peculiar action, was there a mysterious, hidden cause? Like when his first chief twirler majorette sent a letter introducing herself to him, saying henceforth he'd never have to sweat. trouble from any of her twirler, kith, or kin. Afterward, any time he and she were united, he'd gleefully recount how it all began. A friendship that couldn't even be blighted by the weirdest introductory letter known to man. Sometimes even those made of the sternest stuff will still find themselves prey to dismay. I once heard Dr. Garner speak of a patch so rough, he cringes at the memory to this very day. It had to do with an unjust denial of housing access to Arnold, a band member who was black. The doctor's fervent objection met with no success, and he wasn't permitted a second crack. 40 years later, Arnold's father had passed. Dr. Garner called Arnold with condolences. When about the incident, Dr. Garner asked, Arnold said he himself had no remembrances. Dr. Garner still views this as a personal failure, that he was unable to right an obvious cultural wrong, that it bothers him today more than it does Arnold. Perhaps says more about the singer than about the song. Hinting of parallel universes and dimensions. Could he be an extraterrestrial music champion? His competitors wouldn't offer much dissension. You must know this is not the first time a wizard from Kansas has a population blessed. One once helped Dorothy in The Life of Crime, of Emerald City's Wicked Witch of the West. Unlike that one, our wizard elected with us to stay, not fly back home in his personal hot air balloon. Perhaps spiritually buoyed by having finally learned to play a devilish-looking musical device called a bassoon.